I'm not good.
Hi everyone, my name is Amandine Flachs and welcome to a new episode of Entrepreneurs Playing Games. About every 2 weeks I host a live video stream where I deep dive into entrepreneurs and early stage startups journey. We also play video games and we also answer your question live. I think it's actually the most important part. So we are right now live on many platforms, and whatever the platform you're using, be sure to join the stream and ask us your own questions. So I am right now joined by two great guests that I'm going to introduce in a minute. But if you have any questions or want to tell us about what you're working on, please be sure to join the chat. Also, the video of today will be available on my YouTube channel after the stream or by the end of the weekend. So check it out. It's on YouTube at youtube.com/Amandine Flachs. Be sure to subscribe to the channel to follow all the news and keep a track of all future live streams. Also, we are right now live on Twitch. So if you are familiar with the channel and with the platform, you know that you can support the stream by subscribing to the channel there because we are now affiliate. And also, if you are an Amazon Prime user, you can support one content creator per month for free. So whether you're using on my channel or on someone else's channel, be sure to make the most of this. But enough for all my blurb. We're here to talk about Hypersay, and today I am joined by Paul and Cristian, the co-founder of Hypersay. I'm glad to have you both here today.
We are welcome. Yep.
Yeah, thanks for inviting us.
Yeah, well, we already started having quite some fun, so I really look forward for this episode. That's going to be quite a nice one. So as usual, I know that you've been watching a few of the videos, so you know that we start by the beginning, talking about your own startup and what Hypersay is. So can you tell us more about that?
I think Paul should
I can do it. Shorter speech. Okay, so it's a wonderful live interactive presentation platform. The live part means that you get to share your slides with your audience and they join you by using their phones and sharing your code and so on. And the interactive part means that you can augment the slides that you already have by adding live quizzes, gathering feedback from your audience, gathering questions from your audience, and overall increasing significantly your interaction. That's kind of the point of Hypersay, and we've launched it 3 years ago. Yeah,
Okay.
Last then, but
Quite some
yeah.
time.
and it's been growing a lot. We enjoyed it very much. Now we're in the hundreds of thousands of users that
Wow.
have been exposed to Hypersay, and we have a core of 20,000 hardcore users of this platform. Most of them are from the educational space. So initially we were an education technology company, but we kind of grew outside of that, I guess, and now Hypersay is being used for anything from town hall meetings for mid-sized companies up to Indian weddings. So it's a very wide range of situations in which Hypersay is being used. Even on Sundays in Portugal, there is a preacher that is using Hypersay.
That's amazing.
So,
I love
There
that.
you go. Yeah, we were.
Because everybody uses PowerPoints and slides, and this is how they got to use our platform. Because actually we offered an evolution to that. So PowerPoints hadn't been evolving for 20 years almost, and we offered the next step, which was not a revolution, it was an evolution that is going to become a revolution. So we offered the path from now to tomorrow,
Yeah.
and people can take it. It's not a leap of faith like you see in films. That doesn't work in business. You have to offer people a path to evolve.
And it doesn't
Yes.
work in education as well.
Yeah, in education as well.
Yeah.
Small steps, good steps. So that's it.
Well, that's funny you talk about education because I'm actually wondering if before talking about the evolution and how this happened, I want to keep that for the next part because I have lots of questions about it.
Okay.
But I want to know more about the educational space. Do you feel that it's really a space that is really hard to modernize and there are lots of barriers to entry, or do you feel that right now it's just evolved and became more like a broader space and things happen outside of the classroom now? And when you talk about being in educational startups, it's like more in a broader sense.
No, initially we really meant it in a narrow sense, as in we were looking specifically at secondary education and higher education. So these were the two areas. And this has been our focus for some time. We've developed digital textbooks, software for digital textbooks to address this market. We were working with publishers, educational publishers, so we were very education focused and this formal type of education, right? So actually, your question was a bit wider than that. You said that.
Well, it's more about, is it really hard to get into the educational space?
Yeah,
Is
so is it a citadel where we can have to do some attacking with ladders that go up and they put hot water on top of our heads? Or is it something like a more welcoming, nice village?
No, it's not very welcoming. No,
So,
no, it's really hard to get into the educational space. But I don't think that this is exclusively, let's say, education's fault. Education is not one thing. It's made of many small pieces. But I think there is, and there has been for quite some time, a bit of a disconnect between the eagerness of companies, including ourselves, to push technology, new ways of teaching or whatever, and their reluctance to adopt these, because some of them are not that great as they sell their own story to be, or they're not that effective, or they are disconnected with the way teachers are teaching today. So it's all about, it's a sort of a mismatch, and you sometimes hear that when you listen to for instance, you listen for the head of department that says, "Oh, I am meeting 10 startups a week, and I cannot buy anything from there, either too expensive, or too far away, or too unconnected to our existing systems." So it's two worlds which do not really get along that well.
Yeah,
but this has been changing.
We feel that people in the education space are sometimes victims. And they have trauma from the back. They are always attacked by people who try to find problems for their solutions. I mean, the software developers and entrepreneurs get to like an idea, they develop it, and they search for problems that they can use their solution for. It's not the other way around.
Which should be.
Yeah, you should face a problem, think about how to solve it, instead of, oh, we had this great idea, we implemented the software solution. Hey, school, do you want to use this? Because you might have this problem. No, we actually don't. No, you have. And this is what happens, and this is what traumatizes really purchasers and teachers and principals, and when they see somebody else, they say, no.
Yes.
So the first answer is no, and after that we have to convince them, if I use the same metaphor, to lower the gates to let us in, basically. So in their citadel.
There are so many interesting stories in this world of education, in the UK as well. So for instance, when the world opened up to the idea of learning management systems, which was quite a kind of sort of a decade ago, there was a governmental program that said, here, all schools in the UK, you have this money, this budget, you need to spend it over the summer, buy learning management systems for yourself. Which sounds like a great idea, but if you have no idea what a learning management system is, how do you choose in exactly 3 months something that is supposed to change the history of your entire school from now on? So, and that led to very bad choices, that led to a very a rush from all companies trying to come up with new learning management systems. So some schools were stuck with that. Because of that, they hated technology. So it's a sort of a tumbling down. And there's also a second pathology, I think, that also happens, which is I think it is very specific to education. Sometimes there's a professor turned entrepreneur, which sounds like a great idea, but in most cases is not, because it is that teacher or professor, whatever, that finds something that works with their own students, and they think that is a universal solution. So it's a software or a combination of technologies that works very well with his or her style of teaching, with that kind of students, that level of students, and they think they have a business. And because of that, they start building something complex, and then it doesn't work on a larger scale. So it's a very interesting space, to be honest. We're glad we're out of it. Sorry.
Fine, at least it is said.
It's
Okay, that's great to know. And also, so you mentioned that you started you actually have been actively accepting users and having users for about 3 years now. So how many people are in the team now? you mentioned that you have hundreds of thousands of users, so that's a lot. So I guess you may have already a team. Also, have you get any external funding, or you may be fundraising, or have you bootstrapped everything? Can you tell me a bit more about the organization of the company itself?
I'm about to say all of those that you said.
Okay.
So we were bootstrapped, and
Okay.
we've been generating revenues from a different side of our business, which is the textbook creation business. So this has been Hypersay has been self-funded for quite some time. We've also raised some money, so we raised a total of 250,000, I guess, for the entire duration of our for the life of our startup so far, which is not much. We also did not need more than that. We will need now, so very soon we are willing to we'll open a new round of depending on current revenues is going to be between $500,000 and £1 million pounds. And this one was going to be specifically for Hypersay, so want to boost this side of our business. And the team is now 7.
Okay.
We're 7 right now.
Yeah.
And we've been. This is a number that we've been keeping for some time. But this cannot go like that anymore. So we do need new people in. So this is why we're raising, because we want to hire, and we need to do a much better job at things like marketing, and proper sales. So now it's been okay, this is something very nice that we built. This is the latest incarnation of our ideas, right? But this one is going up very nicely, so let's help it grow even faster. So that's the
next
idea.
step. Great.
Yeah.
Well, we'll definitely dip further into that really soon.
All right.
But I think it's now time to play some video games. We have a better idea of what you're doing, and I see that you're super excited. I love that. So everyone, I'm going to set up the game now and launch it now. If you have any question while we play video game, I'll keep an eye on the chat so you can ask us anything. If it's a really tricky question that is about the business or Paul and Cristian's journey or whatever, if it's a bit tricky, I will make sure to keep it for after we've done playing games, because it's hard to do everything at once,
yes,
especially with this
we
game.
don't multitask.
Well, you said it. But if you have any question, please feel free to ask us anything while we're playing. That's a perfect timing for that. And today we are going to play a game called Broforce. It's really hard for me to pronounce it. Broforce.
Brute force.
Bro, like a
bro. Like bro.
Oh,
Yeah,
bro.
I see.
Yeah,
bro.
it is a very fun game.
Force. Okay. I hope it's for kids 5 and below. That's the limit of our.
It is very easy. I don't know that many buttons.
You made sure.
This one.
Oh.
I can choose this
What does
one.
this button do?
Well, that's
Let's
switch
press
off
all
the
of them.
controller. So
What does this button do? Steam. Okay.
yes.
Yeah, it's about illusion of control. This probably don't work.
Yes.
So I wanted to see how you react to thinking that you have control, but actually no, because this is how life works usually.
You're cheerful
Yeah.
today, do you know?
Life and the London traffic lights. I mean, you know that most of the times they are not really connected to anything, those buttons. But people are quite happy. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, so some of the buttons are not really connected to anything.
No way.
Yes, but people still prefer to push them because they have the illusion of control.
I do
and
push
it's a
them
social-
every time.
Yeah.
Several times. I would say.
I push it every time, and I know
Yeah.
it.
And we also enjoyed the feeling of camaraderie when somebody presses a button and the others kind of thank him. Or say,
Okay.
It's a social thing. Yeah, it's a
Oh,
social
wow.
cohesion.
Because you
button.
thank people when they push a button for you. I've never done that.
Uh,
Is it something people really do?
Yeah.
Really?
Somebody offers
I mean,
I'll press the button.
And normally, the one that is closer to the button
Yeah.
is kind of socially
Yeah,
accepted.
yeah.
Yeah.
They press the button and then
People go like, yeah,
get
that's
satisfaction.
great.
I think I still have a lot to learn about the UK
Oh
habits.
yes,
Yes. I think it will never stop.
Yeah,
because
I
they
think
always
so.
evolve, right? They progress.
Yes.
Broforce.
We started one. We're going to play offline, so
Good.
that's just the 3 of us. So to join, you need to press X.
3, 2, 1, go!
Player 2.
Yes. So I'm just going to bring the helicopter to the right place, which is over there. So it's quite simple game. It's very fun. We are together, so we're not
3 of
playing
us,
against
right?
each other. Yes. We are soldiers, and we have to deliver people that have been trapped and imprisoned. And at the same time, we have helicopters and things trying to kill us. The fun part is...
Like a fun game.
Maybe you need my code. Oh no.
Yeah, that's fine. It's just taking some time. The fun part is that the characters are actually very, very famous characters. So you're playing Rambo or
Who am I? How do I know? How do you know?
You're
Oh,
Let's try.
I know which one. Yes, yes.
Okay.
Got it.
So you jump with A.
Yay.
You shoot with X.
Shoot with
B
X.
is for grenade.
What the-
Okay.
that was not
And
a good
every
start.
time you die, you
Yes.
come back with a new character.
Okay, that's
Um,
I am aware.
why no one came
I
back?
think I just died.
Okay. No, someone is with me.
Yes, Dino is with you.
No, I'm not.
No, someone else. I don't know why I have 3 characters with me,
Oh,
so let's
everybody
just die.
It's a good start. I
Okay,
mean,
we
it's-
failed.
Ta-da!
I think maybe we need to play a bit to gain lives.
There we go.
Yes, I think one of us is playing Will Smith in Men in Black, so you have a
Oh,
really...
oh. You're left. Dino, save us. Go,
No,
do
no,
something.
that's me.
I'm player 2.
Oh,
Okay,
Oh,
how do I get you
that's-
back? Can I get you back in some ways?
You've been
Oh
doing this
yes,
for a
so
long
I
time.
delivered someone, so one of you is back.
that's me. And I
Great.
go up. Oh, yeah. What do I do now?
Oh. Okay,
now
I'm
you should be
back
back too. Yes,
Yes,
perfect.
perfect.
So that's another way of getting people back.
All right, I'm following you. Tell us what to do.
It's
Oh,
it's,
you
it's
just kill people. Perfect.
oh yeah, you just kill people like everyone else. There's not us. It's just and now you need to either jump on the helicopter or
Okay. All of us? Do we
well,
have
it
room
doesn't
there?
matter. We all won, so
Oh,
we're
perfect.
together.
Yeah, but
so it's
one
fine.
got away, the others not. We all won. I mean,
We
we,
all
are
won.
all in the collective
On average,
memory.
on average, we won.
That's fine.
Yeah, this sounds more like a political system than.
What is the wow? What is that?
I have no idea. You have different weapon every time and different powers, so I don't know which one is mine.
Is it a good thing to?
Yeah, you can. That's fine.
How do we? Okay. Boom.
I think
the
you're
power.
dead
this
again,
game,
right?
alright.
So now you're back.
Okay, you got me back, but how do I not?
I'm
How do
dead
I
too.
not die?
Where am I? Okay, I'm here.
That's the thing. It's hard to find who you are. So now you need to find a way to not get stuck. Like
It's live. Oh. Okay, so now I have to jump over.
when I tried, and it doesn't work.
So this is how leap of faith works. Like,
Yes.
you know, you two are now dead. So let
I
me
think
just
you can-
go over the
Okay,
edge.
it's fine.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Give up.
Cruel world. And
Yes, there we go. Now
Okay.
it's me somewhere. Dino, where are you? Oh,
I
you're
just
there.
saved you, so you're
Yeah, I'm
back
sleeping
now.
with the fishes
okay,
now,
I get
but-
it.
How did you? How?
So
What?
I jumped
Yeah.
up, and you kind of get sticky on the wall. Like I think you kind of put your knife on it automatically.
We have a knife.
Well, whatever you have in your hand.
I have a. Yeah. Let's be.
So if you
I have a
jump,
sword back.
What is this thing?
you need to
Very-
jump straight and to press the
Okay.
button to go left while you are up. You were
right.
almost there. Yeah.
Oh. Dino, where are you?
I'm down.
He's stuck downstairs.
I'm carving my way up with the knife. So
It sounds like Minecraft.
Actually, there's a way. Yeah. Go up now. Jump.
Yeah.
A.
Jump.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
But jump there.
Yeah.
Perfect. And there you have to climb on that. Oh, almost. Wait. Wow,
Perfect.
Dino. We are
Okay, yeah.
So I think now we need to do the same to go up again.
Okay, wait. So
I think I done
why
it.
can't I?
How do I save it? How do
This
you
is
play?
much harder than. What? Who is that guy? That's Dino.
Me.
Yes. It
So
just
how
lets
do
you
we
do
save
that.
you?
Hey, bro.
Oh, there you go.
So you can
And-
destroy the crafts and,
How can
and
I-
just
I think
I'm trying.
yeah. I'm
good one, bro.
and on blades. That's perfect.
This is. Someone is okay.
Yeah,
Do I
I
go
have
in?
I have a blade.
Yay!
Yeah, it's someone else free.
Oh, look at that. Oh,
You're doing a great job,
Yes,
Paul. You
yes.
told me that you were not a gamer.
I'm not,
But
but I
still.
got the hang of it. So we
And-
all got saved, yeah? Okay.
Yes. And you do play League of Legends.
I do, but
Not-
yeah, that's
no
not involved.
controllers.
Not yet. The controller. They are planning to release
Oh,
something.
really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can imagine playing now with the controller. Like,
They're gonna remake basically the entire
Oh,
game
wow.
to make it. Yeah. Well,
do we have a date for that? Do we know when this is
no,
happening?
No, not. Oh! What? So I need to jump now. Woo!
Yes. How many hours do you have on League of Legends? Because
Oh, it's
that's
a
the big
couple
match
of
rate, right?
years. So quite a few of them. And I just got to platinum yesterday.
Fancy.
Hey, where are we? I'm here.
Well, one of
Yeah,
us is
as
dead.
a team, we have to work together. I'm dead anyway, so you work for me now.
Well, everything goes so fast. It's really hard to
Hello,
even
I'm
realize
coming.
that you're dead.
You mean in the game?
Where are you? You're dead. And what am I,
I think I'm
supposed to
dead
do now?
too. Yes.
Save
But
us.
still go.
Save us, bro.
I'm
Still try to
supposed
go
to-
right.
Right.
Yes.
Is this right? No. Okay.
No, that works.
Okay.
So he has to do the sound because we don't have any sound, but people on the stream have access to the sound actually.
Oh, really?
Yes.
What have I done? I got back here because I died?
Yes. So the flag, the American flag, is a checkpoint.
Oh.
So if you die, you can right there.
Look at this. Oh my god.
It's going to explode.
Is that a
This is
good thing?
explosives actually that you
What
play
am I
with.
doing now?
TNT.
Well, if you find a way to
You went kaboom, Rico. There.
To this?
to move,
Oh.
yeah, to either kill people or save people, you can come back.
Are you guys somewhere that I can come and help you?
Well, we're dead.
We are,
We're going to be.
we are in
Oh,
the
that's a cage! Too late.
Yes,
we were in the
that's
good
fine.
place.
That's fine.
Oh my god, we are so bad.
Mivuna says, famous last words. Let's just die. Yeah.
Yes.
Well, I think it's happened to
Famous
big
last
audiences.
word. I think AI is better than me.
Yeah. Dino, what are you doing there?
I'm playing
Oh,
with crates
Oh,
now.
you can actually save the person yourself. No, you don't.
No, not anymore.
And it's because
Hello.
of Paul. It's not even someone else who.
Yeah, Paul killed me.
Yeah,
It's,
he
I
did.
kill you.
Yeah.
I
Big
can
ball.
kill you. Okay.
You threw something on him, like there was some part of the floor that went down.
Oh, what am I doing here?
Yeah.
Are these bad guys? Are those guys?
Yeah, I think this is not us. Oh, guys.
I saved somebody.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Oh, what is that?
Explosions here. Wow. Oh, I have full space. Oh no, I'm dead.
I need to. Oh, I'm dead too. Dino, now it's your turn. Don't
My
jump
turn
in the.
to die. Yeah, don't go to
What
the
are
moon.
you? You just like to dig, don't you?
But not you are the only one.
You know,
alive,
as an
so-
engineer-
There's
It's a
somebody there.
strategy.
Save us.
Okay, so
There.
X
Up,
jumps.
up.
Oh,
Yeah,
A
jump.
jump. Okay.
Hoppa.
No?
Yeah.
Save.
There you go.
Okay.
Yes. So
This
I'm
is,
back.
you,
Yes.
yeah.
Okay, I have someone who just launched grenades,
Wow.
and that's it.
Oh,
So
yeah.
that's dangerous because it's kind of
I'll
craving
be
the.
back.
Oh, we won. Okay, perfect.
Yes.
We won this one.
Yeah.
I don't know if we do it, but yes. It is hard. It's not easy.
I feel that a group of toddlers would humiliate us
Yes.
in a matter of minutes, if not seconds.
Okay. So that's it. Well,
Yes,
I'm
Federico is
two.
right. He
Yes.
says that like entrepreneurship fail fast.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of the same.
No,
You just need to
no.
move
That's
fast.
gonna be okay.
I think that the fail fast is just the thing that people say to feel
Oh, we
better.
need to save somebody now.
Yeah,
I did. Yeah.
Yeah, I saved me.
I agree. It shouldn't like not everything needs to go super fast.
Maybe I should.
There is some strategy in the game eventually. What do you decide to do first?
So where are we?
I think strategy is not die.
Yes.
That's a best. I
Sorry.
I failed to follow that strategy.
Sorry.
Well, unless you want to change characters, because you change weapons and characters every time you die. So that's also a strategy
okay.
to die.
Yeah, that's very Buddhist.
There you go. I saved somebody. That's you.
That's me, yes.
Let's not jump. Let's not do stuff there.
Okay.
Yes.
How
What
did you
worked
do
for
that?
your light to
No. What?
Okay.
Brutus.
Being called of terrorist jamming.
Jamming?
Jamming?
Isn't even a word.
What's that thing?
I don't know, like with
Gymming.
builders maybe, like
Gymming.
people who do some
Gymming
gym.
technology.
Terrorist
Yeah.
gymming. I mean, every gym for me is a terrorism.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's for me a pleonastic expression.
Okay. So no gym for you,
Yeah.
no video games. What do you do on your free time? Like, do you have?
No, I
hobbies?
sometimes go to the gym, but
He is gymming.
Well, that's okay. I don't, so that's
but
okay.
yes, I agree with the terrorism.
What is with the guy?
Is the terror? It's like
Whoa! Quality! Oh, no, I died. Okay. What? Oh, that's you.
Yeah, that's me.
I was wondering why am I so good?
No, I'm not good. I just
losing
died.
of control.
Yeah.
Just when you say that, I die. So no.
Hop, hop, hop.
I love how you do the sound.
You're the
sound
only one.
effect.
I know somebody who hates the sound. Oh, no! That's a doornail.
Oh, I am back. Oh no, I have dynamite.
What the?
So it takes some time.
Oh, that's interesting. So throw them and get away.
Yes.
Save.
It's really hard to to play with dynamite like that. Okay.
Yeah, people like to play with dynamite. as
Oh,
well.
what is that?
Okay.
Yay!
Oh yes, I saved one.
Bang.
Okay.
That's Dino, I guess.
Yes,
Ah,
I think
yeah,
so.
okay.
That's
Then
you.
do something.
Oh, I'm dead. So now you
Don't
have the
die.
responsibility.
Yes.
Die.
No pressure.
Well,
Don't
or
die.
to save us.
Oh.
Up to you.
Wow. That was
Oh, okay.
What are you?
You know, for me,
No. Sorry.
you probably can tell that I cannot tell the button that fires to the button that jumps.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Dino has an issue with interfaces, right?
Yeah. I mean, the jump should be high.
He's a designer's nightmare, honestly.
Oh really?
Any interface that you design, and
Yeah.
you can tell by my voice that I'm the one designing the interfaces for Hypersay. When confronted with Dino's way of handling buttons, he's like, God no,
Oh no.
he's savage.
Well, if it's just about using and not about designing, that's fine. I mean, if you do the design and you know you're not fighting on the design part, that's okay.
No, but he. Oh, that's me, and what am I doing?
I know. I still have a grenade. Please.
Where am I? I'm nowhere. Dino, you're the only one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you are playing Will Smith, so you have a super good weapon. Yeah.
A weapon to make
deadly
people
weapon.
forget or what?
What's that? A fool with a tool instead of?
yeah.
Oh, you do
Okay.
some damage though,
Yes.
but you're
Slow, I know.
not interested in
that's
saving
fine.
us. There's save.
Oh
Save
yeah, there's
somebody.
someone to save. You need to work on
No.
him. Oh, no.
Gravity,
So close.
gravity.
Now go and get the saved one,
Yeah.
which is up.
Oh
No,
no,
it's not
my
there.
character
Up.
is just can't really do much.
Bro,
Oh great!
joins the battle.
Perfect. So now we have.
Oh, that's me?
Me.
Yeah.
I'm player
Who's
2.
P-Toy?
Yes.
P2.
Ah, me
You
one.
have a super
I
blade.
was P2.
Oh.
No, you were P3, and I'm dead too. No.
Everybody mission failed.
Yes.
Oh, we are failing too fast. So who yeah,
We can do
No,
it.
I'm
That's
P2.
fine.
yes, yeah. Somebody else done. What
try
did
to
I
do
do?
something.
What have I done? Okay.
Go steal some
enemies.
Oh, do we have the Dutch? No. I can't keep track of the characters. I think.
Yeah,
we're going
no.
so fast.
Oh my god, that's really bad. There are two dudes there at the top.
Yeah.
Oh yes.
3 dudes actually. They killed me. Wow. Show some skills.
Oh no.
Oh.
Oh, I'm back. Which characters is that? What can I do?
You did it. Oh
It
god.
works.
Yeah.
Okay.
Good.
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, it's still me. Why am I
Yes.
not?
You're immortal.
It's a
Maybe.
meritocracy here, you know.
No, I'm dead eventually. It was so close. This mission, I feel like we were getting closer and closer
Yes.
to get it.
Closer and closer to dying. All right.
Oh, I am new now. Oh, no, I see.
Oh. It's someone not saying who you are.
Yes. Especially as
You're the yellow.
your character changes every time you save or die. So, try to put it. Oh, sorry, that's my bombs. Yeah,
So
you
it
don't
says
die.
save, so nobody died, so I can't save anybody. Oh. Who throws?
That's me.
Okay.
Okay, I change characters. That's better now. I threw knives.
Okay, I'm somewhere where I cannot see. Should we stay together, basically?
Yeah.
Well,
I'm advanced.
are you advanced or are you dead?
No, I'm at the top there, but I
Oh,
can't see what I'm
yes,
doing.
I see you.
Guys,
Okay.
come at the top.
We're coming, we're coming.
Dino destroys everything.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm slower.
There you go. So, okay, we did a very good.
We did it. Well, one
Well,
of us
the,
just
the two of us.
went down.
Dino, come. You're there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you're live for some reason. No.
Yeah.
It's somehow not going well.
You need to go through the stairs. Yeah.
Take the stairs, Dino.
No, I
I'm
don't.
too old to climb walls like
Okay,
that.
we're back here.
Okay, let's kill them.
Oh, that was nice. I like that.
They killed the big guy.
No, let's not kill each other.
Oh, right, it's you. I didn't even know it was you. I think we did it. The helicopters is here.
Look at me.
So we did
Finally,
it.
I got the helicopter.
Nice.
Dun, dun, dun. I don't know why. I'm not good at games, but I'm competitive.
Oh, I can
These
really
two
get
things
that.
should come together, I guess. Right?
Yeah, I don't know. It's kind of, you want to make it happen.
We liberated an area. Now we have to put a government there and
Oh, it's very
exploit their.
psychological game.
It's
Yes.
like liberated.
All right.
Yes.
Okay, let's have a look at this map and then maybe we can get back to the interview.
Right.
I thought this is the interview.
Oh, well, yes, but it's the easy questions.
Yes. All right. Okay, that's good. You're saving.
Yes, I got.
Oh, you
some
get a
more.
free life. That's the
Yes.
idea.
So that's why sometimes some of them came back, and some of us didn't,
Okay.
and we died. Oh, I'm dead.
Yeah, it depends.
Yeah.
on-
Oh!
I'm
They
back
were
over there.
dead. Okay. But you had a free life, so that's good.
Yeah, I don't know if it's the other life or something else, but
It
the
gets
fact that-
spiritual
How are you
quite
supposed
easily.
to? Oh, you have
Okay.
to. You've been playing this for some time. That's safe.
Well, I
Can't you
haven't.
accept that people
I
are
just
some
played it once.
Good.
Yes. No, this is just experience. It's you now, I guess.
No. Okay, me. Yeah.
I played once to unlock the characters because when you start you don't have that many characters and then you have to play to unlock them.
I'm a ninja now.
Oh no!
Let me just
It's
stay
raining.
out of
You're
it.
just dead.
It's raining blood.
You know how I saved
Hallelujah.
myself, but not doing anything.
Hush, hush, hush. Oh, I like this.
Okay, so I have bombs now. Okay, and
Sorry.
a jump.
Yes.
Oh, I'm gonna wait for you.
So I'm not dead, but I'm
What
stuck.
are you trying to do, though?
Did I mention I'm not good with controllers?
You don't like it when it's just a couple of buttons. You like it's full keyboard, right?
Oh, yeah.
Jump around, jump around. Jump
Okay,
up,
so-
jump up.
Let's follow procedure here.
And by
I
doing
should
the
find
same
the
thing
best
over
part.
and over again.
I also throw grenade.
Good.
Yes.
So
Go that
You-
way, go that way.
You can
No,
go
no.
this way,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah,
on
yeah.
the-
Right.
on the- on
Yeah,
the right.
whoa, look at you.
Yes.
I'm there, so.
okay,
Well, I'm
hello.
stuck down, so can't help.
Oh my god, look at this. So savage. We are. Done. Oh, that's, no. I died.
You died. I don't know
You know.
how, but you died.
Revenge, avenge me. It's that guy over there.
Okay, so I have to jump and throw grenade.
Yes.
Good for you.
And then-
Oh, he's coming. Run. Jump and throw another grenade. No, not at you.
Okay, A jumps.
Cut. Yes, better run. Jump,
You have
drop.
a kamikaze next to you?
It's good job.
Okay, fine.
We're off. Let's not die from the first occasion. What does my...
Oh no, I
Oh,
hate this
now I throw
character.
grenades. Okay.
I'm dead. I really hate this one. She
No,
basically
that's
shoots
grenades.
on the floor with her boots.
Oh, I see.
Okay, so I have the power of nothingness.
So now you're just on your own.
Yeah, but
Well,
Again.
you have fists, I guess, right?
I don't know.
Try to. You're gonna. Yes. What weapon do you have?
I think you have.
I have the power
Do
of
you need to have
spirituality.
more ammo?
Of love. I mean, I have the power of love. It saves everything.
I think that you have the power of running away.
Yes.
Yes, quickly, go quick through all of them. They
It's working.
They won't know what to do. Run. Up. Yes. No. Yeah, good. You did it. I know. Oh, come on. You died before the flag, man. It's like, what is that? Let's wait for the savior.
You went so far, and every time you're the last one alive, just because
Yes.
you're going.
He waits for us to die.
Yeah.
No, I actually struggled to get anywhere.
I'm dead already? Here I am alive now.
Back from the dead.
Should we follow you? We should. Yes.
Okay, wait for me.
I'm dead. I
Okay.
think I released some bees that attacked also the enemy, so perfect.
What do I? Yeah.
It just takes a bit of time.
Yes.
Yep,
Maybe they
I'm
don't want to
back.
be saved.
Bit of resistance.
You go there with your muscles and think that everything needs to be saved. Huh?
Ooh, we both died.
I think we both died.
Oh, that
yes.
was brutal. Brutal. Somebody died from the.
I think I did.
That
I
was-
look at the chat
Let's
and I died.
save you.
Yes, please.
How do I? Now what? Oh!
That was very close.
It was very Shakespearean.
Very far away from. What?
Oh no.
Who had the
I
grenade
think
and
that's
you-
me.
somebody killed us all? Okay. Oh!
Oh.
What did I step on? Do they explode?
Some people explode. Some enemies
Lovely,
explode.
lovely.
And you have also stuff coming from the floor, from the ceiling. Okay.
League of Legends is waste.
I'm not sure about that.
Watch out, you're gonna. Yes, carve your way.
Yes. Well, it's working. Oh no, I'm dead.
You know, as usual.
Yes.
Run.
You
What
have
are
to
you
save
doing?
us.
What is that?
Well, that's
Indiana
Indiana
Jones.
Jones.
Turn around and. Oh, this is so fun. What the fuck?
Oh, I'm back for some reason.
Save me!
For reason of our inaptitude.
Wow, that's.
Oh no.
Oh!
I'm dead.
Mission failed again.
Okay, should we get back to the
Yes.
interview now?
Yes, now let's
I
kill
think
it.
we can stay on this for hours otherwise.
Yeah, and
Yeah?
still do nothing,
I-
basically.
No, you actually play a big role here, like trying to save us afterward. That's
Yes,
yeah,
staying in a safe place.
yes.
For one shot, we should die, but
I
nobody else
like
died
that.
with
I
that.
like that thing.
Oh, I think I did. Yeah,
Oh,
we're
oh,
dead.
oh,
We're
oh,
all dead.
oh,
Okay,
oh,
fine. I'm going to
That's-
switch this off now.
We are brilliant. at this one.
Otherwise, we'll play for hours. It is addictive. Oh, I can take this back if you want. Have everything around me. Perfect. Back to the main webcam and let me switch this up.
Do we have questions though?
We do, yes. I've seen a few, but I've seen one interesting question that I didn't want to ask because it requires to think a bit. And-
We can do that.
While playing, it's
Oh,
it's
while
always
playing, yeah,
tricky.
sure.
no.
No, while playing.
think.
No way. Yeah.
So that's why I wanted to keep it for afterwards. So thanks for everyone for watching us. I see quite a few people on the chat, so that's really cool to have you all today. And I've spotted a few interesting questions here. So I will start with Loom Jaker, who asked, who are today's guests. So today we have Paul and Cristian, the co-founders of Hypersay, which is a super cool startup, and with the questions we will have later on, you will definitely pick up what it is about. Otherwise, check out on social media.
It's about live presentations.
Yes, live presentations.
Sneak peek.
So, one question we have from Miruna asking, what do you guys think of gamification in education?
Great idea. Let's do it.
No, it's tricky. I mean, it looks very much like the game we've just played. It seems easy in the beginning, but you die fast if you don't do it right. So at some point about 5 or 6 years ago, I think that this was the hype. Everything was gamified, from fitness applications to enterprise resource software. I mean, people got experience points for filling in a form or issuing an invoice. And like anything, it needs to be done right. We still haven't found the best way to do gamifications without being in the way of our goals. Gamification is to help, not to be there just because you can do it. And we do have some gamified experiences, but it's more little things. Such as small animation when people clap to your presentations, and I don't know, pounding hearts, and stars that light when you click them. So it's small surprises that we prepared for our users in the platform. But we decided not to go the full length with experience point medals because. We had, while working in a corporation, we had this saying, like, you are what you measure. And people measure different, being a universal platform, people use it for different things. And if we wanted to reward claps, like likes in presentations, people will just click on that without looking at the actual content of the presentation. If we gave them experience points for participating to many sessions, they would just join session and leave. So people are very good at tricking systems. So we want to create the system that uses gamification when we have to. It's not just for the sake of it.
Two things to say on gamification, I guess. One is that there is a success story by Kahoot.
Yeah.
It's one of the most successful softwares used primarily in education, but also beyond that. They do a brilliant job at gamifying live quizzes or something like that. So with leaderboard and so on. So they're really, really good and really loved, and for the good reasons. But there is also interesting that by watching what they did and how they succeeded, and how the Kahoot live quizzes are being used, you understand that it's very difficult to use something like that all the time. So it's excellent if you use it in a specific measure, like use it once a session or once every couple of sessions, because otherwise after a certain amount of gamified anything, you cannot you cannot separate anymore between what's gamified and what's distracting. So there's a fine line that is very hard to walk between these two.
Kahoot is usually used as the best example of how to use gamification.
Probably is, because
properly
it's really
I'm not sure though if it's not just an illusion of that. I mean, I'm not sure if presenters and event organizers really measure the outcome in terms of people comprehension and involvement beyond that game. So judging by my own experience, whenever I see Kahoot, so I managed to win a 4K TV in a Kahoot competition.
That's nice.
That's nice, yes. So thank you, Kahoot, for offering that platform too. But the thing is that it changes my mood from being concentrated and focused on the presentation to being focused to win. And I have an adrenaline rush, and I want to be there the first, and I don't care. Actually, I just change my mood, and it takes me about 20 minutes, half an hour to come back to what they want to say. So the thing is that what Kahoot does for me, and probably there are others as well, it changes the mood from going there to get educated, to receive information, to going there to win. Yeah. And it's the fight versus flight versus being careful, paying attention. And what happens to me is that I want to fight there.
One last thing about gamification, for me at least, about gamification, is when we designed and we keep designing Hypersay, it's always a very difficult thing to find the balance between novelty, something new and cool and interesting that a presenter is supposed to use with your participants, students, or whoever they are, and get out of the way of the actual teaching. So there is a fine line between these things. It's very hard to walk because it's the matter of the interface and the matter of the colors and the matter of the size of the slide, which is the primary way of using the software. And then how do you handle quizzes? How do you have a leaderboard or not? Why? And so there's thousands of questions around this because of this line that we are really consciously trying to walk, which is a balance between these two. So. And I think this is, I personally find to be extremely difficult about what we're doing, the fine-tuning of it.
Lumjack is actually asking if the startup is based on technologies or software. I think it would be good just to make sure everyone knows what we're talking about now that we're done with the gaming part. Maybe just to remind really quickly what Hypersay is about.
So my turn.
Your turn.
Okay, so Hypersay is a software as a service for those of you who want to know about it like that. So it is a website, a platform where people can go and create their own live presentations, starting with what they already have as in slides, Google Slides or PowerPoints.
PDF.
Or PDF, yes. Google Slides, PowerPoints, PDF. You can use whatever you have to start with the presentation. What we offer is a new layer on top of that presentation that makes it interactive and collaborative. It means that instead of just watching somebody present as a member of the audience, you're able to talk back because you have your presentation on your mobile device or laptop or whatever has a browser. So it requires no software installation. So it allows presenters to close the loop. So instead of being broadcasting is a conversation, and also allows presenters to get inside of the participants' heads about did they understand or not, did they want to say anything or not. So we have lots of interactive features. Yes, I was thinking about quizzes and interactive images and videos and so on. So we offer an evolution of the current slide solution to make them web compatible, and we brought them to today.
And I guess that what separates us from part of our competition, and I would name Slido, I think is the largest competition that we have. They were the ones that actually opened up this market for anything live. But the way our approach was a bit different. It wasn't just ditch the slides and use something interactive. Instead, or collect the questions or whatever how they started. It was, for us, it was use whatever you already have, which is your slides, and attach to that or in between your slides those bits that you want to be interactive. Because there are so many teaching styles and presenting styles. Some use interactive parts only at the beginning. So let's say that you want to teach about the cell, right? And you don't know your students exactly what do they know about the cell. So it's worth spending a couple of minutes asking things and collecting the answers, not by raising the hand, because
everyone does that at every conferences, and it's a bit limited what you can get out of that.
Exactly, because it's going to be people like me that talk a lot. They will go like yeah. But then you have introverted people that they will not be willing to just expose themselves there, or you have international students that English is not their first language, such as our case.
Yes.
So there are many reasons for which which somebody in the audience would not be quite willing to participate
Yes.
the traditional way. So we offer a new way through technology, through your own phone, kind of a safe way, let's say, in which you can participate on the same level playing field as the rest of your...
We have teachers saying like, I did not know that student is so smart, that specific student is so smart. He was never talking, he was never expressing his idea, but when they got power of writing, basically,
exactly.
real-time writing, they shine. And about what Paul mentioned earlier, competition versus us. Our competition seems to think that a presenter is a DJ, where they have multiple sources that they have to mix. So now we have presentations and we have live feeds. I'll switch to that. So they have to mix and do the scratch work, I don't know, like DJ. Like when you're presenting, you need to be focused on one you have to deliver. And one system is enough. You don't have to have multiple systems. So this is why we offer them one system where they have slides and quizzes and interactive parts at the same time.
All in one, one package.
One.
So that was the idea.
We have actually an interesting question from Lamjack. So first, well, you asked two questions. How many people currently work in the startup? So you mentioned seven already. Yeah. But the other question is, how should we know if our startup idea already exists or not? And I think it kind of brings us to the question also of competition. You mentioned Slido, and this is a big competitor. And I think something that you're doing to kind of differentiate yourself is, well, the features, but also there is also the question of getting the business model right. It is a great way of differentiating yourself. And I understand you are working on something also at the moment, so maybe we can address all of this at the same time, like checking if something that exists and getting the business model.
So, it's a very, very famous, almost cliche story about two shoe salesmen that got on an island where nobody had any shoes, so they did not discover the privilege of shoes. And one writes back like, nothing to do here, nobody has shoes. And the other one, the optimistic one, and the realistic one, I find, is that like, so much business opportunities here, nobody has shoes. And so if you see that there is nobody in your space as an entrepreneur, it might be a red flag.
Yeah, a big one.
A big one. If nobody creates, I don't know, headphones for cats, it might be a reason. It might not. I mean, it can be a huge opportunity. You never know. So first is research a bit with using common sense and maybe some friends and family if your idea is right or not. If there is somebody else on the space, they might not be correct. Because in our space, there was already competition. And in terms of competition, we don't think about competitors as being the other companies, but also the status quo. I mean, for us, competition for Hypersay is also marker and whiteboard, PowerPoint itself, unevolved, primitive PowerPoint, let's call it. And and we think, how can we improve? And we think about which features are important, such as, for example, for people that cannot hear in the back, should we add something like subtitles? Yes. For people that do not understand, are not native, or don't have language skills of the presenter, is it useful to have a translation, live translation? Yes, and we added that as well. So we look at what the situation is, what the competitors do, and we do it better. So.
But his question was more, I suppose it's a him, I don't know, Lam Jacker. It was...
No idea, no way to watch.
How should we know if our startup idea already exists or not? Well, this is Google basically. So you just Google, or if you are quite clear about what your idea is, you just find a potential user of your idea and ask them whether they've been using something like that or not. Yeah. And now, depending on how you ask the questions, you might find things like this is a good idea or a bad idea. But don't really trust users that just tell you it's a good idea. So this is something that we've been to in our second accelerator, which was in Netherlands last year, right?
Yeah.
No, 2 years ago, 2018. And that was there was one thing that we learned there, which is about validation. Because actually, what you're asking there, if you put it in startup terms, it means how do you validate your idea? How do you know it's a good idea? How do you know it's going to work? You'll never know if it's going to work unless you build it. But before you build it, and you are in the what's called the validation stage, is that you should just go around and ask people first about what they are doing today instead of your... So without your brilliant next idea that will revolutionize everything, you have to ask them how they are doing things now. In our case, and we actually did that, by the way. So before we started Hypersay, we had the idea. I mean, we really wanted to take slides and make them interactive. That was the point. But before we actually set up to do that, we went about and we asked about 10 lecturers at UCL. We asked to have an interview with them, like half-an-hour interview, which is called a problem interview. And we asked them things about how do they prepare today for a lecture? What kind of technology do they use? What do they find frustrating about it? And then you learn a lot of stuff. Some of it has nothing to do directly with your solution. So they may have problems that you're not addressing with your solution, but at least you understand their world. And this helps enormously with the way you talk about your software from now on, the way you position it, clearly identifying what problems do you solve, and only later you come and ask maybe the same people, maybe others, about whether your solution is a good fit to that. But first of all, it's about a problem. I mean, there's the graveyard of startups is filled with startups that died because they created a solution for a problem that did not exist. And this is the main pain. We met a guy. Okay, this is fun. Okay. So 5 years ago, we got to London, right? And we went through an accelerator. This is how we got here. Yeah. Accelerator called Emerge Education, right? And there at the Emerge Education, we were quickly confronted with lots and lots of people that we had to pitch every single day, right? Which is fun and exhausting at the same time.
It's a good exercise, but
But we met one guy who was... he was British, I guess.
Yeah,
right?
very, very.
But
very
he looked like he's been through thousands of storms. So he was tough, and he was very scarred, let's say, but from a startup point of view. So he's been through so many things. He had a startup that failed, and then he built another one, and that also transformed into something else. And he was a developer himself also, right? Because we tend in our company, kind of all of us are more or less developers, right? He's the real one. And I'm not. So we talked to this guy and we were like enthusiastic and telling him, we've built a solution like that and it works like this. And he listened to us very, with a wise man posture, something like that. He said, stop. He said, okay, it's obvious that you know your technology. B, it's also obvious that you've built something which works and is nice, and I mean, the solution is good. He said, stop writing any line of code and go and find one person that would actually want to use this. By which he did not mean that he thinks that there's nobody using that. That was not his point. But the way he formulated this was such a shock for us as founders of a startup. It was, a literal shock. As in, we got out of that meeting, and for about half an hour, we went into a McDonald's, whatever. We could not speak to each other. It was that level of a shock.
Yeah, because we could not speak because you were not speaking, but...
yeah. We could not speak because I was... Okay.
Yeah, in order for a conversation to happen, you need one that speaks, both of us.
Okay, but you did not engage in a monologue either, so it was...
No.
It was such a super powerful way of putting, which is now it sounds obvious, right? But it's not. It's not.
It's not obvious.
Exactly.
It's really hard to take the step back, and that's why mentors are so useful in this space.
Yeah.
No, so people, engineers, software engineers especially, get excited about blinks and in software. And I see a technology and I see, this is so amazing. I want to play with it.
Yes.
So I want to play, but also do something, and so I create a solution for a problem that does not exist. And to come back to the question, if you think that whatever you think you are going to build is what is going to you end up with, I mean, you're wrong. So we came to London 5 years ago thinking that we are going to revolutionize how publishers publish textbooks. By speaking to them and to their users, we realized that publishers are not going to release the content that we need because they don't want to cannibalize, to destroy their existing print business model that makes them a lot of money, and second, because they are large companies, very slow companies. but we did talk to their end users, and we realized that while not anybody uses textbooks, everybody uses PowerPoints. And by
Common denominator.
yeah, so we had an
teachers.
idea. We are going to change how textbooks look like, and we ended up with Hypersay PowerPoint interactive presentations. There is a link in between them, but it was for sure not obvious in the beginning, not at all. So if you now have an idea about, I want to build this, pursue it, but it's most probably it's almost for certain that it will not look like the way you think it will look now. So
And by changing your core idea and what you're building, that means that you also changed the target audience.
yeah.
How did you approach that? Because
So actually, we don't feel like we changed our core idea.
But we did. It's true. I mean, we don't feel it, but we did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
okay.
Well, okay. Previously, I mean, building textbooks required content coming, because we're not a content company, we're a tech company, required content coming from elsewhere, which were the publishers, which meant that our customers were publishers, but our users were teachers. And the way we developed everything about this engine for textbooks previously, so before Hypersay, we looked at the needs of their end users, which were the teachers, right? But we had to deal with publishers. So technically, we were a B2B business, right? I say technically because in fact we cared so much about their users that we are going to their users to see how our software is performing over their content,
Okay.
right?
Yeah,
We had this triangle that we were going on.
We were calling it B2B for C, basically.
Yeah.
So-
Yeah. But because everything that we were doing was for the teachers and for the students, then we increasingly became a bit incompatible with publishers in a way. I mean, because we had our own ideas about how the content should be structured and so on. Okay, and this in time kind of drew a divide between us and the publishers. So when we built Hypersay, was also a way to have a revenge on the publishers, because when they were so slow, they were really slow in signing anything. So you were doing a trial and you're doing a pilot and evaluate the pilot, and the pilot comes back having excellent results, and yet you sign nothing.
Yes.
Yeah,
Like
and-
see you in 6 months,
and-
right? That's
yeah.
that's really bad. So one thing for any new founder out there, trials are great. Associating your name with big brands because they trial your software is great, but much better than that is a small brand or a person that actually uses and loves your product. That is way more important than wasting some time on some big trials that lead nowhere. So this is, for us, this was a very hard thing to navigate, because obviously, well, coming from Romania to London, of course, you're attracted to all these big brands, big publishers. Yeah, I do trials with everybody. No, it's a waste of time. It's a massive waste of time. So, and we wasted a couple of years, actually, I think, with this kind of idea until we got let's ditch publishers altogether, almost. I mean, we still have good relationships with at least 2 publishers, and we do develop textbooks for them, but they are 1 in a million. So it's very hard to find something like that. That's not scalable, right? And this is why we've been Hypersay. Hypersay is a B2C now. So you're right. We changed the addressable market, and things are very different, and we do enjoy the B2C model.
Yeah.
Also because it becomes sort of a B2C to B, because we see customers that love what we are doing, and then they talk to their bosses or to their colleagues or to whoever else is in the company or in the university. So more and more of them adopt what we are doing. So this is why it's a sort of B2C to B.
Yeah. Okay. I love that. I love how you're always trying to, it's kind of, you wanted to do it, and by validating your idea, it's not about saying you're B2B or you're B2C, or it's not about what you're supposed to put your company in a box, but actually you really care about what the end user, and that's what drives the rest of the discussion. I think you also mentioned on the phone the other day that you were looking at the different exploring other business models, and I guess in this space it's also something that helps differentiate yourself and position yourself, right? Having this business model right.
Yeah. So it's a bit like this, right? So at the stage that we are at right now, means that we are growing at a certain rate, which we like and we enjoy, and we make a little bit of money out of the pricing model that we currently have. But because of many factors, such as partly the competition, but partly how the setup is right now, it's not like we're gonna become ultra successful based on this pricing model. So from a money perspective, this is not going to go very, very far, right? So our quest has been also to see, now that we succeeded through technology to get people together and to connect their phones with the presentation, right? So in a shared space, what else can you do with this space? So that was, in a way, this was the revelation. So we've built enough reasons, and we see there is actual demand. So there is a product market fit in terms of the problems that our software is solving. And okay, fine. So we succeeded at that. That's a ticket. That's a box that we ticked. We got people together. They like to join a presenter session. They like to share the slides. They like to participate. Fine. What's next? That's in a way the question. And if you go horizontally, next means new features, new types of quizzes, new types of whatever. And yeah, we're gonna do that to a certain degree. I mean, we are always careful with what we're adding into our software for specific product management reasons. But we're also looking in a sort of a vertical, let's say, what else can we do with this? So is there maybe a way in which it's not just presenters paying us to use Hypersay? How about we pay presenters for the benefit of sponsors? To settle ourselves as a marketplace in between sponsors and events. And this would work for, obviously, for large events, but they already know how to get their own sponsors, so that wouldn't be a big thing necessarily. But we also, and there we can only supply technology, not the opportunity, right? But for smaller events, for mid and smaller events, we will provide also the opportunity, not just the technology. So this is what we intend to build. Obviously, like I explained before to the viewer, we are now in the validation stage. So we ask people, we try to understand how the advertising world actually works. We're also interested in understanding how CSR works, in PR and HR, especially with larger corporations. How do they decide on what to spend where and what do they want to get in return? The cool part of all of this is this is not going to be traditional advertising, because that is already done. I mean, if you go to a large event, you have the sponsor there, normally on a banner, a physical banner printed somewhere where nobody looks, right? So that happens already, and it seems to be fine because sponsors are still alive, and events as well. So we are not going to do that, but we are going to use the technology to do things which make more sense for us, which is, for instance, I mean, you are, let's say that you're IBM and you sponsor an event, but you would like to know, maybe it's an event about a blockchain, and you would like to know what do they actually think about Hyperledger, their own version of blockchain, versus other blockchains. Or maybe not even that. Maybe you ask them about products built on that, which product they have actually used. So there's a bit of a tool channel that we want to build, powered by advertising, but it's a two channel between sponsors and participants through a presenter's presentation. So this is the channel that we want to build.
Basically, we look at how we can bring value while keeping the ideas of it. Because when I said that we did not change, actually I meant we kept our idea of helping people deliver better presentations and have great time while in presentation. Because if you think about your last experiences attending a presentation, usually it's, the attributes are boring, too long, not exciting, and we want to fight that. And whatever we do in terms of business model will be in line with this and helping that. So whatever we want to do is to help presenters deliver better presentations and to help the audiences spend their time more meaningfully. And whatever we do will be in line with this.
It's amazing that how many little things don't go well in an event. I can just a couple of them. One of them is sometimes a technical reason. You stay in the back, you don't hear very well what they are saying. It was a technical glitch. They didn't have the speakers working very well. This destroys for you the presentation. Definitely. Second, you liked the presentation, but you don't have the slides and you would like to reflect on them later. You don't have them. You get always promised that you will get them. You don't. Never do. Okay, so two things. Third, sometimes it's the language. Maybe it's not your primary language and you miss a couple of things. Or fourth, it could be something like you got distracted for a second and there was a important idea. There's no way to go back to that and see that. So there are many little things that end up collaborating to destroy your presentation, either from a presenter's perspective or a participant's perspective. In most cases, it's participant's perspective. And overall, so on top of this all, you don't even know. I mean, you think you know that it went well or it didn't go well, but properly you don't know. Were they engaged? Did they pay attention? Maybe they would have wanted to ask more questions. I will never know because some of them are shy. They will not come to me afterwards and ask things. So we want to address, our technology is built to address these little things that may make your presentation go wrong.
Yeah.
Of course, if you are a world famous presenter, you will not need probably this kind of technologies. Maybe because you are very seductive, you're there in front of the people, big charisma, and you talk about your stuff. So we don't expect that. We would really love to Ken Robinson to use Hypersay one day, right, to get because he's really, really good speaker. But 99% of the speakers are not that brilliant speakers, right? So you need to engage your audience in a different kind of way, and you can get closer to Ken Robinson.
I know about my limitation. Sorry, Ken, but I can be better than you. But still, I want to know how it worked. I wanted to allow people to address questions. I wanted to see what was the best moment for them. So because we moved PowerPoint to the cloud, we also get data about how the experience went, because before it was isolated, now it's connected. So as a presenter, I can see what happens. I can have some analytics. I can analyze and reflect on the results. So I think even Ken Robinson can use it. So yeah.
We had a question there from our.
Yes,
it's another degree. That's interesting.
Exactly. I wanted to actually ask you also about your own background at the same time, and also answer Lumjacker questions on: do you need a degree to start your own business and to build such a project?
We do not know. Probably not. I mean, so our background is quite odd because we were born in a totalitarian regime somewhere at the other end of Europe.
Is that that far?
Yeah,
no. In space, no.
In space, no. I mean, no, maybe it's not far geographically, but from all the other criteria, thinking about all the other criteria, is quite far. So by
Language is Latin. I mean, it's fine.
So we were born in a society who did not know what private enterprise was. Where actually any kind of enterprise, personal or business, was discouraged, where people were encouraged to be the same. So for us, it was swimming against the current. Basically, we had to overcome all of our programming, inside programming, to do whatever we did.
You can tell who the CTO is.
Yeah,
inside programming is.
And so this is one reason that because of our different background, from probably people from Western Europe or Asia or India, it's everybody has its own his own or her own journey. So it's hard to tell if a degree is required or not. There was no degree for us because there is no entrepreneurship university in Romania where we were born. But we had our frustrations and we wanted to solve them. So we scratched our own itches, and this is how everything was born. I mean, we were unhappy with our textbooks, so we tried to build better textbooks. And from that, we were frustrated with what happened with the solution that we came up with. So we built a better one, and a better one, and a better one. And we are now at this fifth iteration already. Okay, but about backgrounds. We have complementary backgrounds, and we happen to meet in the middle.
What's your background?
Yeah. So I was thinking about how to better explain this. So in my first year of computer science university, I was going back home, and I was thinking, everything is this world is built by engineers. I am in a train built by engineers, on a track built by engineers, and outside I see an antenna which was built by engineers. And those people, those buildings that I see are architects and engineers. So everything is built by us.
Yeah, why should Paul exist, right?
Yeah, why do all those people with humanities work? Why? I mean, those people should not exist. Unfortunately, there are other people with more power that thought about this without realizing that it was wrong. So they did more damage than I did. There was no damage for me. So it took me about 8 years to realize that actually I was using the train built by engineer to go visit my parents and friends. I was using my phone to call my loved ones. I was using the heater to get warm, so everything, and I was using the Kindle to read poetry. So everything actually that engineers did it for humanistic or not human, so humanities reasons, let's say. So this was my journey from being completely ignorant technical person to being more open. So this is how even if I have a deeply technical computer science engineering background, I really love the other areas outside this, and this is Paul is complementary. So
yeah, my background is, as you've already heard, is humanities. So I actually studied philosophy at university, and which I actually really enjoyed. But since quite an early age, the virus of technology was kind of already in me, and I think this came because my mom had a brilliant idea. I think she read somewhere, or I don't know, that the computers are the future. So now we're talking about the early 90s, I guess, right? So back then it wasn't even clear what a computer was. She hadn't seen one. But because she heard about this kind of stuff, she found somebody in Brasov, in my home city, one guy, Gitze, his name, that was teaching privately kids about technology. No, about computers, right? Learn computer. So I suddenly found myself among a group of kids that went to this guy's home, and we were explained the basic concepts, and we were taught what later proved to be a bit of programming for kids, right? And we were using a Sinclair ZX Spectrum, which is a very beautiful, brilliant, iconic computer. So that was the virus that I got in. So I kind of navigated these two worlds quite separately, actually. So I was interested in computers, and this led in time. This led to my grandma selling a piece of land, actually, and with that money she bought my first actual computer, my own computer, right? And then another scene is with my parents terrified at me, and we were all around the table in which I was actually taking apart my entire computer under the pretext of cleaning the dust from it. But actually I was just interested in it, and they were scared. I mean, so I was removing the CPU, and I was like, oh my god. Then when I put it back together and it worked, it was like everybody was relieved. So these things kind of took me in life in a parallel track. And on the other side, I was really interested in philosophy and literature and so on. So this is what I went and I formally studied. But all my jobs have always been related to technology until I found the MacBook. And this was the thing that really diverted me, because Mirna, my girlfriend, she came home with a MacBook, that white, beautiful MacBook, if you remember, the plasticky one. And she said, oh, this is wonderful. I was, of course, in the world of Windows and Linux, and I couldn't care less about Mac's awful or whatever. And then she asked me something very simple, which was, please help me install Yahoo Messenger. But back then it was a big thing, which I thought I knew. I was a systems administrator, right? My job was systems administrator. I was handling servers, and I was setting up email servers, and I was working in a domain, and serious stuff. So I obviously knew how to install Yahoo Messenger, and I found it for Mac and downloaded it and I installed it. I tracked it somewhere. I studied it from the very DMG, never mind. But second day it wasn't there, so obviously I have somehow failed at installing it in a very unknown way, and then I ended up kind of researching how do you install a thing on a Mac, and I came up with a forum that said, oh, you must be a noob. Okay, and it's very easy. You just drag and drop it, and that's it. What? No. Yes, of course. Confirmation. Where do you wanna? Anyways, that provided me a shock. As you can see by now, apparently I operate in shocks, in periodic shocks. Okay, so that was an actual shock because I thought, how is it possible that me, how do I not know how to install something? A, and B, how is it possible that there are some systems in this world in which installing a thing is as simple and as natural as drag and dropping something in a folder? What is this madness?
So the irony is that it was so easy that you could not do it.
Exactly. The irony was because I had
so
to
easy
unlearn,
and intuitive that you did not.
Yes, because I had to unlearn bad things that I learned through the. So for me, that was like, how did this happen? What is this parallel universe in which things are happening this way? And this led me to research to understand about how Apple build their products. This led me to Steve Jobs and understanding him. And I think through that, I kind of had the idea, but wait, so humanities and computers can actually kind of collaborate. So, what is this thing called entrepreneurship? And so, things kind of came together because of that bloody...
I don't think that you said, I want to be an entrepreneur, therefore I do this.
No,
But it's like, I have this problem, therefore I want to solve it, therefore I have to be an entrepreneur.
No, it wasn't like... It was like, I wanted to know why, in the history of computers, things can get so far apart. And the answer was not technology. It wasn't the smartness of the people that decided to let's install it like this, or it was a cultural thing. It was a different view and vision on how things should work. And who is the one that does something like that? Who is the person that puts a vision into place? And what is that, by the way? And this is how I got to the personality of Steve Jobs and so on. So it got me to think, that's something here, right? It's something beyond actual just technology, right? It's about the purpose. It's not about the technology.
What's my purpose?
And then I met him, and then
what's my
things
purpose?
kind of...
Who did you meet? Because you have very different personalities and background.
You hired me, I hired you.
So we worked for each other for a while, and then we worked together. But to answer the questions, if you do need a degree to be an entrepreneur, I don't think so.
Not at all.
Not at all.
Unless it's from MIT.
Yeah.
If it's from MIT or Berkeley, then yes. But otherwise, don't bother.
Don't bother. It's useful. Come on. So no, my experience. At least if you want to be an entrepreneur and a computer programmer at the same time, a software developer, university is useful, or any kind of formal studies. We've been working with many people in our almost 10 years or 12 years. Entrepreneurial careers, and I can tell you that there is a difference in between how people that have formal degrees approach a software problem compared to the others. I mean, both of them are enthusiastic and good, but it is useful to have some sort of formal degree if you want to be a software developer. If you want to do entrepreneurship, I mean,
this is what he asked. He asked, do you need a degree to build a successful startup? No.
But
I mean the famous dropouts. The famous dropouts.
Yes. Formal degree, no. Learning, yes. Getting inspired from others, for me, it was essential. I mean, I still read books, I still read articles, and I will always do. So I'll always keep learning. It's not about technology. So I don't think that I will have another degree ever. But the amount of things that I learn every day is similar to what I learned during my university. So never stop learning.
And technology is evolving all the time, so there are lots of things you can't really learn yet at the university, but still you need to learn right now just to be able to build it.
So as long as you're curious and as long as you are willing to put yourself in situations which are uneasy for you, such as maybe you're not a people person, but you do have to meet clients and you do have to negotiate with investors, so that's difficult. But if you do these things, you don't necessarily need a degree. But a degree, sometimes, in order to get it, you will put yourself into these kind of situations. Anyway, so it helps you as a sort of a prop, let's say. But if you ask if you can do without it and build a successful startup, absolutely, yes, it is possible.
Yeah, but
and it's not even
also there are many countries where you have to spend an arm and whatever, a huge amount of money and end up with a huge debt. For university. So,
but looking back on my life, I think I was for a couple of years I was pretty lost in a way. I mean, no, I was doing stuff. I thought, but I wrongfully pursued an academic career actually after I graduated, and I wish there were somebody that said back then, no. I mean, your soul is with startups and it's with entrepreneurship, and you want to build stuff.
Sometimes I think so that things that I did and were not right, I had to do them to see that they are not right.
Yeah.
So I think that this is the same for your career. Now you have no regrets. You have no what would have happened if I did that. So I think it's good that you tried it. I mean,
well, it's also a way to have no regrets. Saying that this way also, it's a way of saying, well,
you have to do it in order to realize that you actually you don't like it. So
I think the song was "Regrets I Have a Few," right?
You also mentioned that part of the journey you've been through a few accelerator programs, and also you mentioned a few mentors. Yeah, that's a lot already too. Yeah. But it's good experience, right? So, what kind of advice, or what is the most impactful advice you received apart from the specific mentors that you mentioned earlier? Is it something that you really learned from other people? I can start,
I think, about it. So we realized that money has 3 dimensions, not only one. So people, when they think about money, they think about the amount. This is actually 1/3 of what money means. There's also the time, where you have to have it now, not 2 years from now. Mm-hmm. And the most important and usually not thought about is that if they are smart or not smart money. Because you can have money from investors that worked in real estate and you want to do a fashion business, those are not good money. You want money from people that are in your domain, that can open doors for you and that motivates them to open doors for you. So one of the reasons we choose to do our business here and not in Eastern Europe was that here money are smarter, because they come from people that have experience with businesses, with educational companies, and with entrepreneurs. We didn't want money from self-made, who knows how, millionaires or billionaires in Eastern Europe. This last aspect of money was so important when we chose our first accelerator, because actually what we had to decide was, should we take 1 million from somebody that doesn't know anything about what we do, or 25,000 from somebody that helps us, and for the same amount of shares, I think, or similar. And we chose to get a fraction of the money, but which also brought us some people that we still work with today. And
there's also something about mentors. I think they're sought after, right? Because they bring experience and intelligence and whatever. But they can be time wasters for you. And as a first-time founder, you don't really know how to navigate this world. And I think there is one thing which I did not expect, but this is if that mentor really wants to mentorship you and to be with you along the way and help you, they will not ask or expect compensation. So asking compensation from the very beginning as a mentor, that's a very good sign that this is a bad situation. So run away as fast as you can. They will waste your time and money, and you will waste shares with them. Never do that. We haven't done it, so we do not talk.
We saw others.
But we saw others. And also the reverse of that is when you find somebody that is close to and you think would complement very well your company, drag them as close as possible to your company. We were actually very, very happy that one of our investors wanted, and we really wanted that as well, to be part of the team. So that's a bit unheard of. So his name is Brian Daly, and he was he was criticizing us quite a lot, but in a very good way, an annoying way initially, but very good way after we went over the ego part. And then
ego part.
Well, at least mine. I would mine. Okay, and then he started adding value to the company in ways in which we did not foresee, right? And that is useful. That is fantastic. That's the kind of thing that you want to compensate and keep as close as possible. But stay away from toxic mentors.
Yeah.
They can be. They will
And
kill
also from our side, entrepreneurial side, when you go to mentors or advisors, don't ask them to sign an NDA. That's a very bad thing. I mean, I saw people like, oh yes, I want some advice from you. Okay, sure. Sign this NDA.
Yes. But it's like VCs, they can't legally sign an NDA because they are seeing so many startups anyway. You can't just.
Plus it's unenforceable.
Doesn't make sense.
There's no way. Nobody won because of an NDA.
Yeah.
It's silly. But we see very young entrepreneurs. I mean, this is the thing that you should learn in the first month of being an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
Don't get anybody to sign an NDA. Is going to be awful.
I'm going to tell you, but I have to kill you afterwards.
Yeah.
No.
Doesn't
That's
make
not how
sense.
it doesn't work.
I had such a great time, and before we wrap up, is there anything I haven't asked you and you wanted to talk about before we start wrapping up, or anything you wish me to ask you before? Well, if it's a no, that's completely okay. I mean, if we covered
I
all
think
the
we covered,
interesting things,
From my point of view, let's do.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
fine.
You want to
Fine.
send
I
a
mean,
message to the world,
we want to send the message that we answer questions, so maybe we can take a last question if there is any.
Yeah, if anyone has any question, that's the moment. That's the last few minutes we have.
5, 4, 3,
Yeah.
2.
Maybe we have
Okay.
credits and we have to do like in the news. When we wrap up the
The
thing,
prompter,
the prompter,
yes.
and
Is there any social media where you're super active, or anywhere people can find you and get more information about Hypersay?
Yes, you can find. Okay, obviously, first of all, is a website where we put all the effort actually,
Okay.
and we are quite happy with how it's going on.
So
Then
hypersay.com.
Hypersay.com.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's it. Simple, sweet. And then it's the Twitter where we tend to communicate a little bit more than on other platforms. But we also obviously have LinkedIn. So depending on what you want to, but if you want to talk to us, there's a chat box on our button on our website.
Yes.
We are the ones on the other end of that, and Brian
test
as
it
well.
in 5 minutes.
And
See how quickly we
and
answer.
then you can ask stuff from us. We can help you with whatever ideas that we have, or you want to test something. So we're quite open about it. Yeah.
Perfect. Well, thank you very
Thank you.
much to both of
Thank
you
you,
for
Amandine,
joining.
as well.
It was super fun. I really loved it. And thanks to everyone for joining and for all your super interesting questions. I had a fantastic time, and I hope you enjoyed these live interviews. I'll be back in 2 weeks with another guest, and you can find today's video on my YouTube, certainly over the weekend. So it's youtube.com/Amandine Flachs. That's also where you can find all the previous interviews, and if you subscribe, you will be notified of future ones, and also, well, not miss the future interviews. So check it out. Also, if you are on Twitch, or you have a Twitch account, we are affiliates there. So that means that if you want to support the channel, you can follow and subscribe, and it is free if you are an Amazon Prime user. You have one subscribe for free per month. That means that you can support one creator. So whether you're using it on my channel or someone else, please make sure to use it, because it is super important to support small creators. For my part, you can also find me on Twitter. That's the main channel, either at Amandine Flachs or at EntrepreneurspG. That's where I post all the new announcements of the next guest, but also you can just drop me a line there and ask anything, or just say hi if you watch the stream and like it, or if you don't like it, you can just let me know there. So I wish you a fantastic weekend ahead, and I hope to see you in 2 weeks, or hear from you before. Thanks, everyone.
See you. Bye. Cheers.